Yes, 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 Kenya. Tamu sana, yes, tamu sana. Yes. If you go through the Star newspaper today, it has a story. A story that is going to form the basis of our analysis and discussion today. This is what Star newspaper has to say today. Uhuru wants Raila to climb Mount Kenya alone. And then there at the top, preferred hair. Fear of state project tag holding Kenyatta back from leading campaigns. That's the headline of Star newspaper today. And if you go through the story, it's telling us that Uhuru Kenyatta is reluctant to go out and endorse Raila Amolo Odinga in public and also to lead Raila Amolo Odinga's campaigns because of the fear of state project tag being labeled on Raila Amolo Odinga. Yes. According to some allies of the president, as reported by this Star newspaper, some close allies of the president believes that the president is reluctant to endorse Raila in publicly and also to lead Raila campaigns as of now for fear of Raila being branded a state project. Though some of Uhuru Kenyatta's allies believes that the president himself will officially lead the campaigns to drum up support for Raila Amolo Odinga. So we have those two kind of thoughts. One group believes that Uhuru is reluctant because he's trying to avoid Raila being labeled a state project, while another group of Uhuru's allies believes that the president will at the right time take charge and lead the campaigns for Raila Amolo Odinga. So in this video today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to differ a bit with those saying that the president is reluctant to lead Raila's campaigns for fear of Raila being labeled a state project. I want to differ with them a little bit. Even though what they are saying might hold some water, I beg to differ with them a little bit. I've tried to look at all the possibilities, and I know they're numerous, but I've summarized them all into 5 reasons why I strongly believe that those saying that the president, if Uhuru leads Raila's campaign, Raila will be branded a state project, I beg to differ with them. The first reason is this. Raila is already a brand on his own, and whether Uhuru Kenyatta publicly endorses him or not, his traditional support base will remain largely intact. The project tag might not affect his base much. You will also largely agree with me, ladies and gentlemen, that Raila, as of now, he has built his own brand. Whether Uhuru Kenyatta supports it or not, that will not change his traditional support base. A majority of them will still support Raila Amolo Odinga. You know, there are 2 candidates today in Kenya that I strongly believe if Uhuru Kenyatta were to support any of them, then the state tag project might not affect them much. We have Raila Amolo Odinga and we have William Ruto. These 2 politicians seems to have already amassed enough support among Kenyans. So whether President Uhuru Kenyatta endorses any of them, the state project tag might not affect them much. So I beg to differ that might not affect Raila much. The second reason, you know, there is this thing called Raila phobia on the mountain. This thing of pork, selling pork to a Muslim. Raila phobia has been with the residents of Mount Kenya for so many years. And it's something that started way before Uhuru became president. So Raila phobia as of now is real in Mount Kenya. Very real. And the only person who can turn that around is only President Uhuru Kenyatta. And he can do that directly by going out in public to state his position on Raila Amolo Odinga. If he leaves that for his lieutenants as of now appear to be very, very weak on the ground. In fact, some of Uhuru's allies might not even be elected back, might not even be re-elected. Because in Kenya again, in every election cycle, about 80% of members of parliament are always sent packing. They are always sent home. So if Uhuru Kenyatta leaves that job to elected leaders or to the MPs or even governors, these elected leaders as of now, a majority of them are already irrelevant with the masses on the ground. So assuming that the people who are going to sell Raila to the residents of Mount Kenya, it might not yield much because of the long history of Raila's hatred on the mountain. And the only person who can successfully sell Raila Amolo Odinga on the mountain, I strongly believe that person is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And the only way he can do that is to pronounce himself out in public so that the residents can hear him saying with his own mouth. Because in the past, Uhuru has been using some of these proxies to pass the message. But the people still doubt whether it's Uhuru Kenyatta talking or whether it's just this group. You know, we have had Murathes and the minor commanders. They have been pushing this agenda for far too long now. But even as of now, residents of Mount Kenya are still skeptical. Some still believe that Uhuru Kenyatta is not actually the one speaking through the likes of Murathe or even minor commander. So I believe Uhuru Kenyatta must himself go out in public and tell the residents of Mount Kenya that actually supports Raila Amolo Odinga. If he does that, then I think Raila might just get some very good votes from the mountain. And then thirdly, ladies and gentlemen, you know, Raila only needs Uhuru's endorsement to crack the mountain vote. Raila does not need Uhuru's endorsement maybe to win support in other regions because already Raila has those supports. So Uhuru's endorsement is only needed on the mountain. Raila only needs Uhuru's endorsement to crack the mountain vote. And as of now, ladies and gentlemen, the only kingpin that Mount Kenya has as of now is only Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. If Uhuru endorses Raila directly in public, Raila, I know, will not be labeled a state project because Uhuru Kenyatta is their son. Uhuru Kenyatta is Mount Kenya's son, their kingpin. So most likely if Uhuru Kenyatta endorses Raila, the residents there will listen. And they will not see Raila as a project because Uhuru is their son and their kingpin. And then also in other areas outside of Mount Kenya, Raila already has a fanatical support that with Uhuru's endorsement or not, it will not change much. So the endorsement is only needed to crack the mountain vote. So if Uhuru endorses Raila, residents there will not see Raila as a state project, but as somebody who has been endorsed by their son. So I differ with those saying that Raila will be labeled a state, will be labeled a project. Raila cannot be labeled a project. He is already a brand. And fourthly, ladies and gentlemen, you know, for quite some times, Raila's political opponents, specifically Tanga, one thing that Tanga has been using for so many, in fact, since the handshake, Tanga leaders and their supporters, they believe that Uhuru Kenyatta has all along been just using Raila and that Uhuru will dump Raila. That's the thinking and the belief among Tanga. Though, because of the recent events, some have now started seeing that maybe Uhuru and Raila might be serious. But some still believe that Uhuru will dump Raila eventually and that Uhuru is just trying to use Raila. So Uhuru Kenyatta should also come out in public and endorse Raila Amolo Odinga to allay this kind of fears. Because also some ODM leaders, some ODM supporters, the recent one being this blogger here, Robert Alai. You know, Robert Alai, he seems to be tilting towards the Tanga of late, and he has been insinuating that Uhuru is just trying to use Raila. That's a thinking that Tanga has been perpetuating for so many years now. For so many years. In fact, since the handshake, that's what Tanga has been propagating. So by Uhuru Kenyatta staying mum and sending his lieutenants, that perception will just grow louder. But assuming Uhuru Kenyatta comes out in public and endorses Raila Amolo Odinga, then these critiques, these doubting Thomases might be silenced, and that might give Raila a mileage on the mountain as far as the mountain vote is concerned. So I strongly believe that Uhuru Kenyatta should also come out in public to endorse Raila, because that will address these fears of some ODM supporters and the propaganda that Tanga has been using, that Uhuru is just actually using Raila only to dump Raila sometimes later. So it's important the president comes out and to endorse Raila Odinga. And then finally, Uhuru Kenyatta's endorsement is likely going to send a perception that now Raila has the system and the deep state. Because largely, Raila Odinga supporters, they strongly believe that Raila Odinga has been winning the presidency. And the only thing that has been denying Raila the presidency is the deep state or the system that has been rigging him out. So assuming Uhuru Kenyatta comes out in public today to endorse Raila Odinga, it will create some excitement among Raila Odinga supporters. They will now know for a fact and for sure that now Raila is going to win the presidency, because the deep state or the system that has been rigging him out of the presidency is now with him. That will excite Raila's support base, and that can even increase turnout during voting, and that will be very good for Raila's chances of clinching the presidency. So I strongly believe that these are the 5 main reasons why Uhuru Kenyatta must come out in public and endorse Raila Amolo Odinga. The advantages of Uhuru Kenyatta endorsing Raila Amolo Odinga far much outweigh the effects, or rather the label that he will be labeled as a state project, or he will be given the tag of a state project, something like that. Because as of now, I strongly believe that the only people who might brand Raila a state project are this same Tanga, who even if Uhuru endorses Raila or not, will most likely again not vote for Raila Amolo Odinga. So Uhuru should come out in broad daylight with a lot of confidence and endorse Raila Amolo Odinga. It has more benefits, it has more advantages than disadvantages. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, let me leave it there for today. If you've just bumped on this YouTube channel for the very first time, kindly subscribe and also give this video a like. Give it a like, please. And to our fans, or rather to those watching us outside of Kenya, for the very first time, kindly drop a comment and also let us know from which part of the globe you are also watching us from. God bless you. God bless Kenya. Tamu sana, yes, tamu sana.